Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Scree gear is more than apparel. It's a tribute to the relentless, the tireless, the true guardians of the wilderness. It's for those who seek not just a game, but a legacy. Not just a sport, but a way of life. In our gear, you're more than a hunter. You're a story, a tradition, a legend in the making. Scree is your journey, your triumph, your success. Join the working man revolution. Success awaits.
Well, all right. Welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass podcast with Kevin and Chuck. Today we're going to talk about, can you really trust the government? And maybe we shouldn't. Why not? I don't know. Kevin, you said you had some concerns. You've been doing some research and...
There's one conspiracy that I want to start off with.
Okay.
That not a lot of people know about, but I got a can of Four Loko today.
Four Loko. Tell me about Four Loko. No.
It's a caffeinated alcoholic beverage.
Oh, you have my attention.
Which basically equates to fist fights.
Oh, I like fist fights.
Alcohol is like a great chemical in the fact that as the drunker and drunker you get, the sleepier and sleepier you get. So by the time you're out of control, you're in bed.
Oh.
They've solved that problem now.
Problem solved. All right.
What I really wanted to start off the show with, though, was getting into the Invention Secrecy Act of 1915. Or 1951.
Right. Now, I got to tell you, I've never heard of the Invention Secrecy Act.
Most people have not heard of this.
All right.
Basically, it was instituted first during World War I.
All right.
To protect national security.
Who doesn't really care about national security?
But if you come up with an invention and you patent it, and it somehow pertains to national security,
all right,
the government could seize that invention and keep you from profiting from it, using it, developing it, until the end of the war.
Oh, the end of the war.
Right.
Okay,
then they let that go. That passed on, and World War II came around, and the same thing went into place.
All right.
That was a two-year limit on your invention until you could actually profit from all the painstaking labor you've invested in coming up with these ideas.
All right, 2 years. I'm a little disappointed. I'm frustrated at that point, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Then in 1951, they passed the Invention Secrecy Act. And
all right, now what's that?
That's basically what it is that if the government decides, if the president decides that your invention is detrimental to national security,
all right,
then he can decide that you cannot use or profit from your invention. That's slowly been changing though.
All right.
So now it's not just the president. Now it's the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy, military branches.
There's a lot of people there.
NASA, anybody from NASA can decide this. The NSA can decide that anything that you've made that somehow relates to national security, that could possibly be a threat if somebody used this invention, you could have it seized. And the one that really bothers me is the Department of Justice is on that list.
Of being able to
decide that your invention is...
All right, so there's a bunch of judges sitting around and...
And, you might think, well, all right, you invented some sort of a poison gas or nuclear bomb or
made
something
nuclear
crazy.
bombs. All right, got to be able to stop that.
So, I mean, like, you could see how 3 or 4 of these might be, you know, somebody says, hey, bud, listen, whatever you got going on, you know, not cool.
So if I invent a laser that I can point and turn people into dust, maybe I shouldn't just put that out there.
You don't want to patent it because they'll
take it.
They see it. So you might think 3 or 4 of those would be reasonable. So last year they did, 2009, they did 5,596 of them.
That's kind of a big number.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't know there were that many inventions that were detrimental to the national security. And that's just it. You'd lose it. That's it. You don't get it back. You don't get paid for it unless the government decides they want to buy it and use it. You don't get anything. They just keep it. Maybe in 15, 20 years when your technology is irrelevant, you might get the rights to it back. But they, basically they just get to decide what they like and don't like, and decide whether or not you're allowed to have that idea.
It sounds a little like a dictatorship.
Well, I am scared of terrorists.
Oh, well.
It could happen any day.
Any day?
Yeah. I mean, I'm also scared of dying in a car accident on the thruway or having a massive heart attack shoveling snow, but...
You still shovel snow, though.
No, I mean, once they get around to finally banning snow, I'll be happy with that.
Horseback riding can be dangerous as well, so you might want to watch that. All right.
Yeah.
Now, did you have some kind of examples, or is anything come to light on this?
There's a couple of them that have been released later on.
Okay.
One was a technology that would track road conditions and traffic jams.
Oh, yeah, you can't just let that stuff out.
Yeah, well, I mean, right? That's what I'm saying.
That sounds dangerous.
There's a couple of them that just seemed completely absurd, and those are only the ones that after 10 years or 12 years they said, all right, I guess it's not important anymore. And but these are that they don't apply anymore. They're outdated by the time you get it back.
Right.
So if you spend 5 years fighting court, you're just out that money and out that.
No, you were saying there really isn't an appeal process on this, though, right? Or
well, you can appeal, but you're appealing to the same people that decided
that it was
it was a bad idea, that it was detrimental. So I mean, it's
That's always what I wondered.
It's like arguing with the cop when he gives you the ticket. It's not going to work.
No, it doesn't. Now that, these are some of my concerns. Like I hear about with they accuse people of being terrorists, and then they can put these gag orders on them. Mm-hmm. The FBI came and searched your house, and you're not allowed to tell anybody, and you can't appeal it.
Right.
Because you might be a terrorist, and you'll tip off other people, and who knows? And you always hear these stories.
It's a pretty low threshold for that terrorist. It used to be like when you wanted to discredit somebody, you called them a racist. Your opinions don't matter because you're a racist. But, that terrorist one's a little bit worse.
It's a little ugly. It's an ugly word. All right, so that kind of, leads you into the neighborhood I was going to take us. And what I was thinking about is, I guess, I know touchy subject, people get offended, but Glenn Beck wrote that book, The Overton Window. Mm-hmm. And it's a philosophy that, he didn't come up with it. It's been around for, whatever. Right.
Overton, right?
Right. So the idea is that if you can just change people's comfort level just a little bit, they all everybody has a certain tolerance of what they'll accept. Mm-hmm. It's the idea of, well, I don't think you can have me at the airport, take my shoes off and stand there like a jackass. Well, you pat me down and grope me.
Right.
That might not be acceptable to somebody. Whereas, saying, oh, do you have any weapons on you might be acceptable. Mm-hmm. We all have different levels. You might say, all right, I'm willing to walk through a metal detector.
Right.
but I'm not really willing to have you stick your hand up my butt.
Well, what about, those X-ray machines that they got going?
Oh, the new where they can see
the
all-seeing. Yeah. Well, I think the big problem they have is the where the TSA agents keep stealing everybody's shit.
Yeah, no, that's serious.
That's a little concerning.
Did I ever tell you my TSA?
No,
story?
no. Tell us your TSA.
I was I used to fly quite a bit.
Okay.
For a job.
For work,
yeah. And at some point,
what government agency was that?
So at some point,
at
some point they had banned lighters. You could bring matches on.
Okay.
But not lighters.
But that would just be.
Yeah, but I mean, I some of those I would smoke, and some of those places they would have smoking places inside the airport.
Okay.
There aren't very many of them anymore.
Okay.
There's maybe one or two in Texas and Georgia, but I realized that if you just put the lighter in your pocket, you could walk right through it and it wouldn't set off the metal detector.
Okay.
So, I started getting used to it, considering I was flying every week. I really got the TSA thing down, and I remember smoking one time, and I pulled the lighter out of my pocket, and this guy was sitting next to me, and he's like, "Oh, can I get that?" And he goes, how did you get this in here?" I said, "Oh, I had to smuggle it in. I stuck it up my butt." And you should have seen this guy's face as he had the lighter held up to his cigarette, his eyes wide open. But I'm getting sidetracked.
So you are a little off task.
Yeah. So I was really getting used to these the searches and all that sort of stuff. Not joking when I'm not supposed to be joking and this and that.
You're a nice guy.
And so I felt fairly confident going in and out of the security checks, knew what I had to do, knew what not to do.
Okay.
And I was taking my son, I wasn't working this time, I was taking my son to fly on his own. He was flying to St. Louis.
All right.
And I was in LaGuardia, and that's in Queens, right near Queens.
All right.
And I was getting ready to take him out to his gate because he's young boy. I think he was 11 or 12 at the time, and I got hit with a mandatory random random check. And they did a little sniffer on my hand to sniff for not drugs, for bomb making
explosives.
Yeah.
Right.
I had bomb making explosive material on my hands. Turns out,
didn't see that coming.
So they took me into the
the violated room.
The private room, and with my son, and a large African American fellow told me that he was going to touch my private areas with the back of his hand.
Back of his hand. I never know why the back of the hand. What, if you ever touch something with the back of your hand, you can't feel shit.
Right.
So I don't know what the point is.
Yeah. And honestly,
it's just not really a sensitive area where you can. I mean, like if you rub the back of your hand on your pant leg, you're like, I can't really tell what I'm feeling.
Yeah. And maybe I'm homophobic.
You might be.
I would prefer, I can understand why a woman would want to be searched by another woman. But I personally do not want to be searched by a man.
Everybody wants to be searched by a woman.
I don't care if she's a big, ugly bulldyke.
Right.
I'm all right with that. But that's not how it works.
No.
So they searched me in and out. Not in and out.
Oh,
they searched the outside. I didn't actually have to take any articles of clothing off. They did not buy me a drink. They did not buy me dinner.
No.
They did not find any explosives on me.
Okay.
And they also told me that if I had shampoo on my hands, residue,
that might also be explosives.
Now, how much did they spend on this machine that confuses bombs and shampoo?
That's a fine line.
How much money did they invest in this?
So, based on this Overton window, you're willing to say that might be a little bit too far.
I wasn't even getting on an airplane. I was dropping my son off. That was too far.
Too far. Okay.
And now I honestly fly much less than I did before. I used to fly quite a bit. I don't have that job. I don't go on vacation out of state anymore. Because I don't feel comfortable getting, my sperm count lowered by the radiation. machines that they zap me with.
I went to, where did I go?
I have a lot of swimmers, and I want to keep them that way.
You want to keep your swimmers?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I secured mine in the gate. But, to each his own.
Yeah.
But I flew to New Orleans. So I went out of JFK. Mm-hmm. And they don't tell you anything when you're going up. Like, you just, see people taking their belts and their shoes.
Right.
And I'm like, well, there's no sign that says I have to. And there's no guy, whatever. I'm like, fuck it. Mm-hmm. So I leave my belt on. I leave whatever. And they didn't say shit. Went through the metal detector. And they came over and they looked. And he's like, oh, it's your belt. All right, you're good. Just go.
And they just
everything was cool, yeah. So I'm like, all right, I like
so
that.
You don't have to take your shoes off.
I didn't. Other people did.
I have a feeling
and the wife
that if you told them that you had a medical condition, that you can't take your shoes off, that they would let that slide.
It might just be that I'm an asshole,
right.
you know?
Well, I mean, you have to be. You can't just let them keep pushing and not push back at all.
Now they don't carry at Sam's Club anymore, but they used to, you'd have to show your card when you come in. Mm-hmm. And they'd get weird. And I used to I got in the habit of just giving them an angry look, and you could just walk right by.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you don't have one, just intimidate them, and they back right down. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, this works.
I mean, how hard is it to scare the 65-year-old lady that's checking the cards
like,
at the door?
And, every once in a while, you'll get somebody who's like, and you just keep walking.
Just keep walking and ignore them?
It doesn't matter. Now they don't check them anymore. Maybe too many people caught on to that. Mm-hmm. I always have trouble when I go to the stores and they're like, oh, and can I have your phone number? And I'm like, no. And they're just like they don't even know. Like, nobody's saying that. Yeah. And you're like, really? Nobody's ever said no to you before?
They always ask for a
or your zip
email.
code or your email.
I always say no to that. And it always seems like I'm the only person that ever
you're the only one. And they're like, man, you're a dick, whatever. And so, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Let me get a manager.
Old Navy does. I don't want Old Navy to
rank
have
on
my email list.
No. So that's a little concerning. And once again, that's your level of tolerance.
Right.
And no, obviously Sam's Club isn't the government.
Right, but I mean, whatever. I think we all need to be in the habit of pushing back a little bit and saying no.
A little nudging. Because,
keep that window from sliding to the left.
If people push you, you go through anything. And I think one of the examples in the guy's book, they talk about, well, if you could sell bottled water to people, then you've pulled off the greatest con of all time, And they talk about, a guy came and pitched that and was like, I can, get people to pay money for water.
Right.
And they're like, water that you get out of your faucet.
For cents for hundreds of gallons.
Yeah, but hey, and most of it, well, even better, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bottle the water in their town off their municipal water.
Right.
And then I'm going to go and sell it back to you.
There's no standards on bottled water beyond what the municipality requires.
Yeah.
No, so you can literally fill up your tap water into a bottle
and sell it. Put a label, good to go.
Right. That's completely legal, and people are still buying bottles of water.
Got to buy that bottled water. Tastes better.
Just you have to write spring on the label. Something spring, anything spring.
Yeah.
And then
from Mun to spring, From Mun. Anyway, maybe this episode's a little disturbing. I don't know. Maybe you guys are a little afraid.
But I mean, there's a lot of nonsense out there.
But that's the thing. Like, I guess where I started getting annoyed, and I don't know, I've been annoyed at my government for a long time. But where I was thinking about in the last couple of weeks is I was listening to NPR. I was doing a repair in somebody's house, and they had NPR on. And
I like how you had to clarify that you weren't listening to that by choice.
I've put it on to be entertained. I don't know, but
it's commercial free. I can appreciate that.
You're killing me. So anyway, I'm listening to NPR, and there's 4 people sitting around, and they're talking about the state of health in America. Mm-hmm. And the first guy's like, well, we just don't have enough medical infrastructure. And we just need so much more. People can't get to the doctor. And there's not enough doctors to handle all this. And Americans are really out of shape and really bad. The next lady gets on and she's like, well, it's because of all the food deserts. And people are all fat because of the food deserts.
These are all things. You're saying a bunch of words I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Then the next person is like, well, it's because Americans don't exercise. But then they all come to the consensus, well, we really should have the government more in charge of health care, and we should expand facilities and treatment.
Wait a minute, are you talking about you want the people that run the DMV?
Yeah, that sounds right.
To be in charge?
Or wait, you were in the military. How'd you like your health care?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Right? Oh, man. I'm like, I
remember being injected with a lot of stuff I didn't know what it was and being tested once a year for HIV. But if I had a problem and I had to go to the doctor for something...
I think my Navy health care, well, I know one of the big examples, I would go to the dentist and I guess, I don't know, I had like maybe porcelain fillings or whatever they did back when I was a kid so long ago. Mm-hmm. And now they do something. Actually, I think they're plastic when I go to my dentist now, but I don't know what the hell they did in the Navy. I know the Navy wanted to do the metal ones. Like some in between. See if I can set off some metal detectors or something. I don't know.
That's good for you.
Yeah, whatever. So they would look and they'd go like, oh, these are all porcelain. You need to get all those taken care of. All right. So they'd schedule an appointment. I'd come back a month later. Well, probably 6 months later. Mm-hmm. And I'd show up and the doctor would look at it and go, these are fine. Why are you here? Well, I don't know. They didn't like they were porcelain. That's ridiculous. Get out of here. All right. I'd leave. Next year. This went on over and over again. Same thing. I get they want to pull my wisdom teeth. Mm-hmm. Well, you have them. We should just pull them out. Because you never know what will happen when you're out in combat. Uh-huh. Oh, my tooth! Oh, God!
There are people shooting at me, but I can't concentrate because my tooth is bothering me.
So, the guy starts, he's like pulling out my wisdom tooth. And he gives me a shot of Novocaine or whatever, and it goes to work. And I'm like, really, that kind of hurts. Well, I don't know. Let me give you another shot. Gives me another shot. He's like, no, it still hurts. He's like, no, there's no way you can feel that. I'm like, look, mother, I can feel it. It hurts. Well, no, that's ridiculous. Oh, you know what? I see what I did here. I'm giving you a shot on one side of your mouth, and then I'm taking the tooth out on the other. And I'm like, look. Oh, but this is the kind of, we had, my kid, we're in Virginia Beach in Norfolk there, and they got a big naval hospital facility there. And,
right.
And so my kid at school does a hearing test, and they're like, oh, your kid can't hear. He can't come back to school till he gets checked out by a doctor. Mm-hmm. So no problem. I call the Navy. Oh, you got to take a look at the kid. You know what? We have no way to test somebody's hearing in the Navy.
What?
And I'm like, wait a minute. You only do 2 tests. You do my hearing when I come in, and you do my hearing when I get out. And that's pretty much all you do. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, yeah, but with a kid, he's a different size. We don't understand. And what, like school physicals? If we did those, everybody wants one. You think we can just do those for everybody?
Yeah. Do they cover your kids or not? Because I was always under the impression
they're like, did. No, we can't do that.
So you got to pay for your own.
So yeah, I had to pay out of pocket to go to a specialist to do a school hearing test, and go, oh no, he just had wax in his ear or something. Yeah, who knows? Whatever. And just that kind of stuff pisses you off.
Yeah.
But that was a little off task. Now let me tell you, what frustrated me is these doctors talking, or different people, and they're all like, oh, we need to expand. And the whole premise is wrong. Like, wait a minute. Why aren't we teaching people in school what they need to know to be healthy and live and productive out of life? why is it that we're worried about treating the aftermath, you know?
Right.
The end result. And it's so far away that the basics get lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that they should be teaching the basics in school. They should, because apparently they're not getting it at home. Nobody knows anything. Everybody's dumb, and I don't understand. But aside of that, what I'm saying is we get so worried about how to treat the end result that we're missing the obvious problem that's right in front of us.
Right.
You know, obviously, people are eating shit for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If it's because they live in freaking food deserts, then how about we teach people how to grow their own food?
Yeah.
How about we teach people, you know what? When you can only go to 7-Eleven for food, here's what you freaking do. This is, you know, the good scenarios.
Yeah. Slurpees and hot dogs aren't the way
And
to go.
the bottom line, if you know what? If maybe they walked a little further the extra block to the other store,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe that would help them out otherwise.
Double it up.
I mean, again, we all know I'm an asshole.
Right.
We know, I'm
but you don't
mean and
have
heartless.
To park. You don't have to drive around for 10 minutes looking for a parking space that's 2 minutes closer to the building you're trying to go to. A lot of the time, I'll park at the very end of the parking lot, even if there's no cars in between.
That's why you're a badass, though. That's the difference.
I know my wife gives me a hard time about that. That
Yeah.
I make her walk all the way across the parking lot.
She's like, you're kind of an ass. And yeah, that's probably true. Whatever, to each his own.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna bump their car door into my crappy piece of junk car.
No, they're not. And that's, I guess the whole thing. I get annoyed where the government seems like they just want more and more power. It's more, well, I can be in charge of shit. I can control shit.
But you're not smart enough to take care of yourself.
That's true.
You need somebody. You need
to tell me to wipe my ass
you what to do. Yeah.
And just more and more that, I was just talking to somebody, and this is annoying. And the guy's a capitalist, and he was telling me, it's like, well, I was talking to somebody, and they told me they were going to vote for Bernie Sanders, and I came up to him, and I was like, say you go to school. He goes, why do you want to vote for Bernie Sanders? Well, he's going to pay for my college. So my buddy, because it's free. It's going to be great. My buddy says, well, all right, imagine this. Imagine you become a doctor, and then you're making $100,000. You make $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Now, what if then the government wants to take $60,000 of that to pay for the next set of kids to go to school? Are you going to be cool with that? Well, no, that's not right. I earned that money. And he's like, well, that's the problem. It doesn't work.
Like, I fully support free education and free healthcare. I think that's a great idea. The problem is it's not free. Somebody's got to pay for it.
Well, and that's
somebody has to pay for it, and it's you and me.
But I would even take that argument further. And I get, this is what I keep yelling at my kids with, what's wrong with communism and socialism and why it doesn't work, aside of the fact that people are greedy and want power. But it's also, all right, now you have the free school. The government's going to look at it, well, we're paying for school. Right? It's not you and me paying for it. They're paying for it.
They're paying for it.
That's how they see it. Mm-hmm. So it plays out like this. Well, then only the schools that back up what the government believes are going to get the money. Mm-hmm. Or at least that the government deems worthy. And maybe that means that there's no art. Maybe that means there's no music. Maybe they love art and music and there's no welding. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's no capitalism. Maybe there's no, but anything that disagrees with the school, the problem is they're taking your money to pay for it, and then you don't have money left to send your kids to support what you believe in, and then your freedom ends up dying away. And it's more and more we give up a little bit more.
Yeah, well, when it gets to the schooling thing, that's kind of the way it is now. I pay my
with public schools, right?
And they teach what they want.
And if you disagree with
Common Core here in New York State,
you can go to private school, but you're going to pay for that.
You still have to pay for that
that other school
kid to go to the public school.
And now more and more they're pushing Common Core, testing with the private school.
My kid came home with a Universal Bill of Rights.
Oh, Universal.
Have you seen this?
No, I have not. Tell me.
It's fantastic.
I bet it is.
It's fantastic. Everybody has the right to freedom of speech and most of the things that are in the U.S. Constitution.
Okay.
But there are additional rights.
Oh, they have extra.
And these are universal rights.
Universal.
Nobody told me about this. I didn't know that you automatically were born with this right.
Where'd they come from again?
Universally.
Universally, all right. From the universe, all right.
No, this came home from
no, I know. I meant from the universe, from God. Where do your rights come
author,
from?
There's no name of a committee.
All right.
But apparently, you have a right to health care and you have a right to a free education.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. It's free.
It's free.
It doesn't cost anybody anything.
No, free.
It's free.
I don't think they really understand
along
the
with
word free.
whole lot of other strange things that were in there. But it just kind of made me a little irritated that they were teaching this Universal Bill of Rights and not the U.S. Bill of Rights.
Because they could go with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, more and more. And it just, this curve of what's acceptable. And I think that's one of the things that concerns me with the schools so much is people used to say, when you'd hear things like what you're telling me now, and it used to be to a lesser degree, back 20 years ago, people would say, well, that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to believe it. Mm-hmm. When they started talking about global warming and when Al Gore was all out preaching about it, well, that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to accept that. And it was mocked and like a joke. But the schools just kept going and going and going.
People are voting.
And they're teaching your kids. Mm-hmm. And they're telling your kids, oh, your parents are dumb. They don't know. They're outdated. They don't understand.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, this is so illogical. And then now,
do you remember
they've changed the minds of a whole generation.
Do you remember the crisis? I don't know if you were actually in school when I remember this crisis and when I was in school of the ozone layer disappearing.
Yeah, well, I have a story about the ozone layer. Crisis. Tell me more.
It was a crisis. We were all going to get skin cancer and die.
Okay.
They don't talk about it anymore, though.
No, you're not getting the skin cancer?
No, I don't know what happened with that crisis.
Well, I can tell you a little bit as a licensed refrigerant recovery
guy. You know about this.
With refrigeration, they seemed very concerned about the ozone layer. Turns out those chlorofluorocarbons were going to destroy the ozone layer. Mm-hmm. Now, ozone's a tricky thing. And it turns out, in order to be a refrigerant recovery agent certified by the DEC, you have to get a license and carry around a card that says NARDA certified and that you understand refrigeration and the dangers it poses. Mm-hmm. So, I took this brilliant test.
What does the DEC stand for? That's another one of those three-letter agencies that a lot of people don't know about.
Department of Environmental Conservation?
That's it.
All right, we're in. Why, you concerned me.
Well, everyone throws around these three-letter agencies. As long, you just need to keep up to date on what your agencies are, because there's a lot of them.
So I take my test. Mm-hmm. Actually, I study for the test, and I have this little booklet, and it says, we don't really understand the ozone layer or how it works. However, what we do know is that we need ozone to protect us from sunlight because it burns us.
Right.
We also know that the more sunlight in an area, the more ozone is created. Now, we're concerned because over the polar caps, during the dark season, when there's no sunlight, the ozone layer gets thinner and has a hole in it. But then, when the sun comes back in the summer months, the ozone layer comes back. We don't know why it's going away, but just in case, we should take these steps to ensure that it doesn't get a bigger hole and disappear forever. And I'm like, did they read the first paragraph where it said sunlight creates ozone?
Mm-hmm. It turns out that when UV comes through the hole that's in the ozone layer,
Yes.
it hits the oxygen and creates ozone.
And I'm like, this is in the test. And it says, we have no proof that this destroys the ozone, these chlorofluorocarbons. However, we just think it would be a good idea. And I'm like, well, that's a genius move right there. And it just was the most insane thing. And I'm just reading it over and over again, going, do they see what they're saying here? Because it doesn't
seem like it seems like a lot of really smart people.
And they're supposed to convince me to be the representative of the government who's going to come out. I have little stickers I can say, this has been certified and, removed by me and properly disposed of.
The only thing I really got out of the whole ozone debate is that for some reason I can't use aerosol hairspray anymore.
Oh, the fucking aerosol.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Destroyed it.
Aerosol and it's awesome. So fun with a lighter. Yeah, I mean, all the fun things you can do. Well, and then I never understood how we get rid of the old Freon, which is oil-based, and we replace it with something that's like chlorine-based. And
it's safer.
It's a lot better. You don't even need to worry about things now. And then I'm like, well, if the chlorine is the problem, because then they were like, well, it's the chlorine. And I'm like, well, so why don't we ban swimming pools? Well, no, that would be ridiculous. People wouldn't go for that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I'm just speechless.
Yeah, no, because you're dumb.
I'm dumb.
You don't understand.
That's the thing. It's just that they push what's acceptable. They take what they can take, and it's just more and more and more. And the more you feel threatened, the more control and the more power they have over you.
Well, I once remember hearing somebody tell me that if anybody ever tries to sell you something based on fear, then they're lying to you. And I can't remember a politician that was not trying to make me afraid. Donald Trump is concerned about immigrants, and Bernie Sanders is concerned about, not getting free health care because we're going to have a nation of dummies.
Yep.
And education care. And, Hillary Clinton, well, I don't even know what the hell she's talking about. Her shrill voice just makes me change the channel.
Right.
But, I mean, it's like there's all these people are talking about how we need to be so worried about where we're going and what's going on and all the bad things that they need to correct.
Right.
And I can't remember a president correcting anything in my entire life.
No. Down a dangerous road. I do like the Gipper, but we won't I have to cringe when you say that. But then again, your entire life, you're a little bit
I was 8 years old when he left office, so... I mean,
a little post-Gipper, so... Yeah. Anyway, but with that, make sure, you go and check us out on the iTunes, hit the reviews, and maybe tell us some things you guys would like to hear about in the future podcasts. Tell us about, what kind of topics you'd like covered. Maybe check us out on Patreon. Maybe you shoot us an email at preppingbadass.com. Keep us up to date. And otherwise, pay attention, stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.